Welcome. We're going to give this a whirl. Healing the inner child. Welcome, welcome. Just getting
recording in progress.
Started. So let's see how this goes. YouTube says to stream in portrait. Let's try that. Nope, that didn't work. No. Cancel. We're just gonna do it this way this time. Okay. So, testing. Test this out. Alright, so I'm gonna get this over here. And that like that. We've got it. Okay, close. Bajillion Pinterest notifications. I've got to turn this off. Welcome guys. Sorry, we're just getting ready to start class. I apologize. We're getting ready to rock and roll, so bear with me. We're getting everybody in, getting class started. So welcome. This is the first time I've live streamed on YouTube one of my classes. So I'm like super excited. And I see everybody's kind of jumping into class. So we're going to get ready to get started. Guys, I am doing my first live stream on YouTube right now. Thought I would share this class to YouTube, see how that works. Oh, hello, Jen. Hello, Jessica. Yeah, I thought now would be a great time to test out doing this class. We got a lot of people coming in. Oh my goodness. So, welcome to Healing the Inner Child class. Good evening, everyone else. Just so you are aware, this class is not meant to take the place of a doctor or a therapist. This is my viewpoint as a master energy healer, Reiki master, medical intuitive. So please make sure that you're supported with a doctor or therapist on your healing journey. But this is all spiritual in nature. And my viewpoint on healing the inner child may be different from anything you've heard before. And it may be different from what you view it as. But my viewpoint is the way I'm going to share this. And I hope that this will help you guys on your healing journey. Because I think that one of the reasons I'm doing this class is not only to help you guys, but to help me as well. Because I have noticed that my clients keep reflecting the things in me that I need to heal. And one of the things that I have noticed that we will get stuck in the place where we have experienced the most significant amounts of trauma. And for me, my husband always sits there and goes, oh my God, you're like a 13-year-old boy stuck in an adult body. And I'm like, yeah, probably. I giggle at jokes that 13-year-old boys would giggle at. And I'm a little bit of a tomboy. But if you look back to my personal trauma story, a lot of it was around 12, 13, 14, when the things in my life were just getting so difficult and so hard to handle. But recently, I have kind of made this self-awareness discovery that all of these people who are coming to me have these things to heal just like I do. But what I am doing is being a little bit of a hypocrite. And I'm out helping everyone else heal, but I'm not doing anything to heal myself. And so I made a goal for this summer that I'm going to be working on myself, but in the process, because so many of you are healing the same things, we're going to heal together, right? And some of the things that I've seen repeated patterns of needing to heal, besides essay things, are, childhood traumas, inner child work, fight or flight. And so you will start to see a lot of those classes be up and coming throughout kind of like the theme of everything. And so kind of bear with me as we go along, because I feel a little bit selfish focusing this way, but at the same time, I feel that in healing myself, I'm going to also help you guys heal. And so we're going to be on a really interesting journey as we go, because there are pieces of us. And as I work with my clients, these are the things that I notice. We have levels to who we are. And generally, everybody that I work for, and work with have three levels. We have the conscious level, which right now we're all conscious. We have subconscious level, and then we have the higher self or the soul level. And I will often refer to higher self and soul interchangeably as we go. And so we have these things that are kind of like, this is kind of how we're set up as spiritual humans in this experience. But there are times that as we go through this human experience, that we start to fracture, we start to compartmentalize parts of who we are, so that we can just kind of survive day to day. And so sometimes we will put aside the needs of the child so that the adult version can function. And to your subconscious and your soul, past, present, future is all happening at once, all at once, And so everything that happened to you as a child is happening at the same time as everything in the future and everything in the past, right? And so our subconscious goes, child, sit down, shut up. We don't need to hear from you right now. We got bills to pay and groceries to buy and car payments to make. You can't be here. And the child is going, but there's still parts of me that need healing. There's still parts of me that need recognition. There's still parts of me that are unheard and unseen. And so it will start coming out in the way that we're triggered or the way that we respond. It will come out with abandonment wounds and nurturing wounds. And, I call them nurturing wounds, but it's, when we talk about mother wound or father wounds, I call them nurturing wounds and protection wounds. Protection wounds come from those that are supposed to have protected us. Nurturing wounds come from those that were supposed to nurture us, but who failed in those tasks. And, it was really interesting. This is the first class that I've done that I did literally no notes on this class. Usually I have little notes that I go by to remind me what to speak about and to kind of make sure I don't miss any points and things like that. I did not make any notes for this class. And I didn't feel the need, because this is something that's so close to me and my experiences that I'm like, I don't need notes to teach this. And so how do you know your inner child is wounded? You find a hard time laughing. You find it hard to go be playful and have fun. You find yourself feeling abandoned when you're not being abandoned. You find yourself being overly serious. Or you can be on the polar opposite extremes of being too playful and too childlike, right? Because that child is trying to push its way out and get attention in some way, and everybody that's going to manifest differently. For me, my husband actually last week was like, okay, we're going to try to make mom laugh. And he's telling me jokes that most adults would find funny. And I'm sitting here going, I got nothing for you, guy. And then my 14-year-old starts telling jokes, and I'm laughing at him. And my husband's like, I can't believe you find this funny. This is like teenage toilet humor. And I'm like, this is hilarious, right? And that's a sign. Like, there's my inner child going, that's where I was wounded. That's where I am. And so to me, that was all funny. To him, as his adult self, he's like, he's learned how to integrate that inner child and have fun as an adult, and that inner child doesn't come out. But my inner child's going, I'm stuck over here. Somebody come back down to the level where I am. Great examples of, well, I'm not sure a great example, but a famous example of a very wounded inner child is Michael Jackson, right? Very to the extreme Neverland Ranch, and we won't get into all the conspiracies, but very much, stuck in his inner child. And why would he get stuck there? Because, and this is all general, I'm not reading him or, bringing him in as a medium. I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, from what I know, he started at a very young age. He missed the childhood. There's significant trauma, abuses. He was worked like an adult. He missed that childhood, and so he tried to bring it back. that wounded inner child said, I still need recognition. And so you can notice these things in patterns and traits and triggers and behaviors. I notice it with myself. I feel the need to interrupt a lot. Oh, I have to do that, and I will like just interrupt. That's a childlike trait. I won't be seen. I won't be heard. Let me interrupt you because no one's going to listen to me. The inner child gets wounded typically in the throat, in the heart, and in the solar plexus. Sometimes always also sacral, but typically throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus. So we're going to carry the primary inner child wounds. When I see someone who's experienced significant childhood trauma, I notice that they will have illness or injury with their skin, their heart, their lungs, their liver, and digestive. Those are like the primary places where I see injuries. Sometimes also kidneys, typically with like sex abuse type things where you see a kidney injury will come in, fight or flight type stuff. And so the childhood self is screaming out to be brought back. And sometimes we completely lose track of that child. I know for me, I have very few memories of my childhood. And that is a little terrifying to not remember your childhood. Like my husband, he remembers every one of his teachers' names, his friends from grade school. He remembers those things. And I'm like, yeah, I don't remember a lot. I have like snapshots and little bits and pieces, but I do not have full memories. That's another sign of a wounded inner child. That's a sign that there's something that has been so traumatic that we've separated the child and put them aside. And this is what the subconscious will do, is it'll say, you go sit in the corner because I gotta function. You go over there and you will start separating pieces of you. And I see this often when I work with clients, that they will separate sometimes multiple times from their souls. Sometimes to the extreme where they get diagnosed with things like disassociation or multiple personality disorders because they're separating out pieces of their soul trying to maintain that function. Now, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert in here, I'm just talking about what I see with clients and with the energy that I work with. We have a lot of people here saying same lost memories. Yeah, the lost memories, it's the way to protect, it's the way to say that inner child experienced things so traumatic that if we let them out, you wouldn't be able to survive. And so I often have people, when they hear my story, go, how are you a functioning adult that doesn't have addictions? And I'm like, well, I just put my inner child away, and that's how I function. So it becomes very, very intense as we try to kind of rediscover the inner child. And when we go into the healing, the healing part of this class, I will just say that you will feel probably overwhelmed in some way. We will feel a rush of emotions. You may not feel anything, and that's okay too. And so just be aware that it's going to be intense, it's going to feel like, oh my gosh. But think about it this way. If you have lost a piece of you and then you bring it back, you're going to be like, oh, that feels weird. That feels different. I'm not used to this. Okay. And it's kind of, trying to think of a way. Sorry, there goes my nose. Pardon me. Let's see what intuition has to say, because you guys know when my nose starts going off, intuition's coming through. So let's hear what this is. So what I hear is like, what is lost will feel broken, will feel hard to bring back. It will feel rusty. It will feel like a puzzle piece that doesn't totally fit sometimes. So just kind of understand that as we reintegrate that inner child and bring that part of you back, that it may feel a little weird at first. It may feel like almost like you have a scab where when you start healing, if you get a scab and you're like, that feels itchy and awkward. Remember that as you start healing, that when you get a cut, sometimes that healing process, it feels weird. It feels, it goes through stages. So kind of keep that in mind when we go through that healing. And I just want to be like kind of fair warning with that. So besides the healing meditation, what are things that we can do to bring our inner child back? And I meant to bring my roller skates upstairs, guys. I forgot. They're downstairs. Roller skates were my big thing because was it last year? I think it was last year. My kids asked me, they're like, Mom, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I got everything I need. I just want to have dinner. I love you guys. Let's have fun. You know, but then my inner child goes, You want roller skates? And I was like, Yeah, actually, I do. So I call my kids, I'm like, Never mind. I want roller skates. And they're like, Mama said, What? You want roller skates? And I was like, Yeah, I want roller skates. And I'm like, It doesn't have to be expensive ones, but just roller skates. They actually bought me a really nice, like $200 pair of roller skates. They're like really nice. And I remember the first time that I put those on, the rush of emotions would go, and I was like, I remembered that time when I was a kid and I was whirling around the skating rink and I was twirling, and because I actually used to be pretty good. I could like spin and like do the little thing where you like sat down and stuck your leg out. Can't do that anymore. I'm like 43. I'd fall on my ass. But I remembered that, and I was like, and so I got out and I got on my skates and I was like, whoa, I'm wobbly. Whoa. I almost fell on my face a couple times. My husband's like, he's like doing this. He's like holding on to me. He's like, you want me to let you go? I'm like, no, let me go. I got to do this. And I remember the first time going around my cul-de-sac really slow and not very confident and thinking, damn, I should get some knee pads and a helmet. But I didn't because, you know, I'm dangerous like that. Um, and then all of a sudden I was like, this is awesome. I put some earbuds in with some 80s music and I'm whipping around my tie-dyed fat butt around my cul-de-sac, and my neighbors are going. I have a video of my neighbors actually because I pulled out my camera the second time around. Um, and they're like, and you could see, you go scroll down my TikTok about a year's worth of videos, you'll see it where they're just like, holy shit, what is this woman doing? But I ignored it and it felt amazing. Amazing. But I will say there are going to be times where you don't remember what your inner child needed or loved. Or maybe you didn't even have anything because your childhood was such a shit show. You didn't get to do anything you loved. And so if you're in that spot where you're like, I don't remember or I don't know because I never had the opportunity, that is your opportunity to just start exploring, start trying, you know. This is why a lot of times when people go into midnight life crises, they start buying sports cars and bicycles and motorcycles, and like my husband, he bought kayaks and things like this because they're exploring what they used to love and trying to figure out who they are and bringing those things back. I would suggest, instead of like going out and buying a bunch of shit, just like go to the roller skate rink, rent a pair of roller skates, try it out. You know, go to the bowling alley, try it out before you buy shoes. Take a painting class, and you know, before you go buy a shit ton of art supplies, like I do with my ADHD brain, like I went out, I was like, I'm going to learn fire clay and learn how to make jewelry out of like that metal clay stuff. About all the stuff, I haven't touched it time wise, but you know, so I would suggest using some prudence so you don't end up, you know, like my dad who walked into home. I actually remember this because he's like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted a four-wheeler ever since I was like 18. And he walked into a Bass Pro shop and dropped 20 grand on, you know, a bunch of these little four-wheelers, and then he realized like I'm never going to ride these and had to sell them, you know. So we don't want to go into that kind of stuff. I mean, it's fun, but you can get yourself into trouble. So just rent things, try things, go to a class, and explore. And if you don't like it, try something else. One of my friends, Ali Duzette, actually, she taught me something too, which I really love, which is sometimes like, and you guys know I have my special little basket of pens. Grab a pen, grab some crayons, start scribbling, get a color book, start kind of getting that energy out and kind of bringing that child back to the front, in the forefront, reintegrating, because you know there are extremes and we don't have to be all adults all the time. We don't have to be all kid. We can bring them together and be kind of this wonderful mix of wonder and playfulness, but also of wisdom and knowledge. And I feel like I'm getting there, but I've lost a lot of my playfulness. I've lost my laughter. I tend to be a workaholic. That's another sign that you've lost your inner child, where you're work, 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 or focusing on everything you have to do. So I am learning to kind of give myself that playful space. And one of the things I'm doing recently, I did this in the past and I kind of stopped doing it, but I'm doing it again. I play video games with my kids. We get Fortnite out and I'm like, and I'm not very good. I'm not very good at it at all. But I sit there and I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And I basically run around Fortnite. I collect all the guns and then I hide in a corner until somebody shoots me because I'm not good at it. But it's fun and we laugh. And that is bringing back that inner child to me because guess what? As a child, my brothers never allowed me to play video games. They didn't. They're like, you can't play, you're a girl. So I never got to play. So that was one of my fun parts of things. So I want you guys to take time to start exploring what your inner child needs, where your inner child needs you to go to bring it out, right? But also, besides the playfulness part, what does your inner child need to feel safe? What does your inner child need to feel loved? This one is coming up so much lately. Let's see, Karen says that she dances. Ooh, I love it. Dancing is a great way to move energy. Um, this week and past week, I've been asking people's souls during readings. I ask them, I'm like, what do you need most to heal right now? And you know what? Even the ones that had shitty parents are like, I need love. I need my mommy. I need to feel love. I need a hug. I need to embrace and be loved. And so even the children that, you know, and this is actually something my sister, who's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, can't remember which one. Anyway, she's a therapist type person. She said that even the children that are very abused by a parent will still want that parent, right? Because that parent is their love, it is their support, it is all they know. And so sometimes, like for me, I actually had a reading with one of my friends who's a medium today, and she's like, you want your mom, but your mom's super toxic. And I'm like, I know. And it's not the toxic mom that we want, it's the fairy tale parent. The mom that's going to love us and nurture us and read us stories. And that is what we want. And sometimes it's what we never had, but we want that. And so when I ask these souls, they say, I need to feel loved, I need to feel nurtured. And so it's often like for me, my mom's been missing for 7 years. Haven't seen her, talk to her in 7 years. I can't get that from my mom. So where do I get that from? You know, you can't go to someone on the street, hey, will you be my mom and come bake me cookies and read me stories? That doesn't work either, right? Or you go to your husband, okay, you're gonna be my inner mom or my inner dad, and you know that doesn't work either. So that starts to fall on us of saying, what do I need to feel loved? And really, it starts to come into loving ourselves. And shit, is that's not the hardest thing in the world to do, to love yourself. I say it all the time, love yourself. I preach it all the time. I talk to you guys about body features and how you look so you can learn how to love these parts of you. But I'll tell you what, I look in the mirror all the time and I'm like, God, you're such a fat ass. You look like a potato. And look, is that a wrinkle? And oh my God, right? Right? We do it. Even though we know it, we do it. I know this shit and I do it. It's really hard. But it's also really easy at the same time. And so when you catch yourself saying negative things that don't sound like love to you, those things are probably the things that you projected on yourself, or maybe an adult projected on you as a child, right? Um, I know my dad, I bought a new truck this January, and my dad goes, that's probably going to get repossessed. And I'm like, pardon? And he's like, well, remember when you were 17 and you bought your first car and you couldn't make the payments and it got repossessed, right? And so, whoa, there's a father lack of support wound there. There's a lack of protection wound. And then the whole part of my inner child goes, oh my God, yeah, I remember when I was 17 and that was really, really bad, you know, and had to pull myself out of it and say, no, you're not, that inner child wound, we can let that go. You're safe. You're an adult. You can do this now. And you can have that inner child fun in a truck that's got 390 horsepower and you can enjoy it, right? And so I've allowed myself to start enjoying my truck, too much to the point where I got a speeding ticket. That's another thing. Don't speed. Learn every two. Anyways, yeah, I have faults. Speeding's one of them. And so, you know, learning to bring forward your inner child does need some limits, so you don't get things like speeding tickets or in trouble. But allow that part to come through. Blast the music that you loved when you were kids. Nicole says, I love music and dance. A lot of people, that's a great way to pull it through. That's why a lot of people who disconnect with the inner child, like they start buying Barbie dolls and cars and things. Have fun with it, right? It's okay to do those things. Give yourself permission, as long as we're not going to the extreme or doing dangerous stuff like speeding. Like, don't speed like Stacy. Learn my lessons. But have fun with it and enjoy it and bring that back. And don't worry about the condescending parent that goes, you can't do that. You're not good enough. No, 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 no. And start loving yourself and saying, in the past, I felt like I wasn't loved, but I know that's not true. When you catch yourself saying these things, say, yeah, in the past, I felt like I wasn't loved. Someone told me I wasn't lovable, I wasn't good enough. I will tell you all the time, my mom would tell me, my only job was to be a barefoot and pregnant baby machine for my husband. And that I wasn't allowed to do anything else. I wasn't good enough to do anything else. And that's a really big mother wound. That's a really big inner child wound where I had to go, no, I love myself. And that's in the past. That's not true. And the truth, and this is how I shift things. When we start getting the negative thoughts that come in, that start bringing us down, making us feel loved, I said, no, that was someone else's belief system. But the truth is, I'm lovable, I'm happy, I'm supported, whatever you need to shift that with, and shift it with the truth. The truth is, I am lovable. The truth is, I am worthy of receiving love. The truth is, I am capable of things that people didn't tell me I could do. And work on healing that inner child yourself and giving yourself the love that you were never able to receive or didn't feel from someone else. And this is something I tell my clients all the time, because they're like, what should I do? Look into the future and help me figure out what choices I should make. Should I leave my spouse or my job, or should I move? And this is what I tell them. And I will tell you, I tell this all the time. And I'm telling it to myself now, because I'm even working on this for myself. I say, work on loving yourself. Work on healing yourself. And as your energy changes and you heal those wounds, the world around you is going to naturally start shifting. And choices and decisions will present themselves to you, and opportunities, and people will fade in and out of your life. But you'll start getting the people in your life that want to show you love, that want to appreciate you. And I will tell you, I've been kind of doing a little bit of this past year, and it's been insane. I have people for Spirit Fluent, like my wonderful mod, Nicole, who comes on and they're like, I love what you're doing. I love who you are. Let me help you. Let me help your audience. Let me support you. Right? And I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't do that. No, that's not okay. Because that inner child goes, it's okay for someone to support me and help me. And oh, that feels weird. Inner child scaredness come up. And then I'm like, deep breath in. I can be loved and supported. I can accept help from people, right? Because that inner child might go, I do it all by myself. Like a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old's like, I do it myself, right? And then the healed inner child goes, oh, it's okay to have a little bit of help. It's okay to reach up and grab someone else's hand and let them pull you up. It's okay to be supported. Let's read some of the comments here. We got to go through this. Kayla says, how can you help your sibling heal their inner child? Hard lessons here. You can't. Okay, that's a short story. If they're not willing to heal themselves, can you help them heal? No. Now, if they're willing to heal, if they're like, oh my God, I love what you're doing. Show me what you're doing. Come along for the journey. Go watch Stacy's video. Go take a class. Let's go roller skating together. Let's go play together, right? Let's go make mud pies in the backyard together. Let's go make s'mores and go camping, right? But if they're not willing to heal, you cannot fix people who are not willing to heal. And it hurts like freaking hell to watch them self-destruct. I learned this with my ex-husband, who was an alcoholic. I wanted to fix him. Oh my God. Because he was a really pretty good person when he wasn't drunk. But he was drunk more than he wasn't. And he was really awful when he was drunk. And I went to rehabs and AA meetings and supported the crap out of him. You know what? He didn't want to change. And here we are, 20. Well, hold on. When did I marry him? I was 17, nearly 18. Let's just say 18 for math purposes. 25 years later, he's still an alcoholic. His liver's gone to shit. My daughter went to him. She's like, I'll help fix you. I'll take you to rehab. And he goes, no, this is who I am. I'm not stopping. Doesn't want to change. And it fucking hurts. Sorry, I curse. Hurts like hell. Hurts like hell to watch people be in pain, suffer, and not heal. But I will tell you what, as you heal yourself and they see what happens, they're going to go, oh, I like what you're doing. Take me along your journey. Or they might be like, no, no, thank you. And they'll fade out of your life, which will hurt. And sometimes if they're toxic, they'll try to pull you back down. And that's when you burn the bridges. But there is a chance that when they see you heal, they're going to want to come along for the ride. And so just keep setting an example for them. What about saying those things even if you don't believe it? Do you just keep telling yourself what you don't believe? Yes and no. There's many things that I often don't believe, right? I will say, like when I was working on manifesting my truck, it wasn't even my truck I was trying to manifest. And I just kept saying, I trust that the right vehicle come at the right time for my highest good. And I would say there's at least 50% of me that's like, that's fucking bullshit. That's never going to happen. But there was a little tiny spark of me that's like, maybe, just maybe that might happen. Just maybe something really cool might happen. And all you need is that little spark. And so keep in mind, I'm a Christian, so this is going to come from a Christian perspective. If it's not, just shift your perspective. But in the Bible, they talk about the faith the size of a mustard seed. And if you've seen a mustard seed, they're like meep, little teeny things. Little itty bitty spark of faith. And that's all you need. And I will tell you, one of my friends, Good Buffalo Eagle, he's the founder of the Anasazi Foundation. And he says it this way, that we all have a seed of greatness in us. And that we can plant that seed and allow it to grow. And he takes some of the most troubled teens. He brings them into their program. They do this wonderful ceremony. And then he hands them a knife. like a 5-inch blade knife to kids who've been arrested and have mental health issues. And everyone's like, holy shit, you're giving these kids a knife? And he's like, yeah, somebody needs to know that they're trusted. And has he ever had a kid that stabbed anybody? No, he hasn't. You know? And so I tell you that because sometimes all you need is a little spark of faith, that little seed of greatness, and that's enough to kind of start you going forward. And then you'll get a little bit more confidence. Kind of like me with the roller skates. At first I was like, oh, I'm wobbly. And now I'm like, woo, this is fun, right? You got to get that going. And so sometimes it is a little bit of a fake it till you make it, but it's not really even just faking it. It's just like, okay, there's a little part of me that believes this might be okay. It's kind of like when you buy a lottery ticket. 99% of you is going, there's no fucking way I'm going to win. But you bought that ticket because why? There's that one little percent of you that's going, well, there's a chance. Somebody's got to win. And that's that same kind of energy that we're going with here. The kind that's like, well, I'm pretty sure I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or if I'm going to get there, but you know what? There's a chance, so I'm going to keep trying. And that's what you're holding on to right there. Mary says, self-parents, providing what you didn't grow when you grew up. Exactly. And sometimes that's discipline too. I was a feral child. By the time I was like 8, my parents were like, do whatever you want. I was roaming all over the town, whenever. I remember I lived in Portland, Oregon. We lived on 80th Street somewhere. And I went all the way to downtown Portland on a bus to buy cake at our favorite bakery. And I was gone for hours with my sister. And my parents actually got worried that time. And they're like, oh my God, we thought you were kidnapped. But no, I was just a feral child with no rules. And so sometimes even parenting that inner child means bringing some rules and structure in. And that's actually personally some of the things I'm working on for myself, where it's like I've had no rules, no structure. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to make some loose rules and some loose structure and kind of bring some of that together. So yes, and Nicole has a great comment on that theme. Your subconscious listens to what you're saying all the same time. Positive talk is super important, and it is. And sometimes you won't even believe it, but you can just keep saying, you know, in the past I thought that was true, but now I know different. In the past that was, you know, me, but now I know different. Kayla says, my sister self-destructs with me and it's so painful, but you want her to heal, but you don't know how. Yeah. It's so hard. We want our siblings to heal, our family to heal. It's super painful. Even myself as a mom, I have 7 kids. My son just posted on Facebook today, my oldest one, he's 25, almost 26, and he says he's going to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm like, I've had to sit back and watch that child self-destruct. I have. I've just had to sit back and go, oh God, I don't want to, don't do that, right? But, you know, sometimes you have to let people go on their own journey because they need to find their own path, right? And sometimes it's super, super painful. If you guys are into human design, I'm a projector, and projectors basically have to wait for the invitation to help people, right? And so if I give unsolicited advice, people get really hostile with me. And that's just my thing. And so I know this very well as a projector, that I have to just sit back and wait until someone asks me to support them and asks me for help, because then I know they truly are ready for it. And that's the hard thing, is we have to sometimes just sit back and go, oh God, they're self-destructing. And, you know, you can say, hey, I'm here. Hey, you can give them invitations. Hey, I'm going roller skating. You want to come? Hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to come? You can. This doesn't mean stop inviting them, but do it just because you want to spend time with them and because you want to have fun with them, and not because you're trying to fix them. Because the only person that's good at fixing people is us, our inner self, right? And it's a hard pill to swallow. But I will tell you, the people that were just there, that didn't try to fix me, just loved me where I was, were the people that helped me the most. And so that's what I would suggest for anyone that you feel needs inner child healing, or anyone that you want to fix. Just love them where they are, support them where they are, invite them. You know, you can invite them to healing classes, you can invite them to yoga, to meditation, and they might say no 52 times, and then 53 something will click and they go, you know what, I think I need to heal, and I'll go to that class with you. But, you know, don't make it your sole goal to fix, to solve, or to heal their problems, because you're just going to end up in a very painful situation on the other side. And honestly, you know, it's kind of like saying, I want to go through labor for someone who's pregnant. Yes, we want to go. Yes, we don't want them to go through pain. But can you have a baby for someone? No. I wish, because it hurts. I've had 7. It really hurts. But you can't. But what can you do? You can hold someone who's in labor. You can hold their hand. You can bring them ice chips. You can support them. And that's really where you want to be when you're trying to help someone on their inner child journey. So heal yourself and invite people and support them, but don't go into it thinking you're going to be able to fix them, or don't go into it trying to fix them, because we fix ourselves. So, you know, we fix ourselves. So I'm just reading a comment here regarding fears and worries constantly in your mind. You're ready. You're not supposed to give these thoughts any attention, because the focus brings it into the reality. Oh yeah, I just saw something from Jacqueline too. Sorry guys who are in, there we go. Aha. In YouTube, the comments are disappearing. So here's the thing. We're human. And a lot of people will say, oh, you know, don't put a lot of attention. That's going to get a thought form. No. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to kind of backtrack, tell you guys a story. I'm a storyteller. My brother at 38 went into complete heart failure. They were like, you need a heart transplant. Heart failure. And his biggest flex was, I don't deal with emotions. I just ignore them and shove them aside. Gone. Right? And so when we have things that are worrying and constantly on our minds, and we shove them down to deepest, darkest corners and say, this is kind of one of those toxic spirituality things, guys, where we're like, no, not going to listen to it. No, not going to listen to it. And then we have to be smiley and barky and happy. Oh God, I can't be happy anymore all the time. That's the toxic spirituality stuff, right? No, we're not going there. We're not going there. If you have an emotion. We do this, and you'll see this when we do the meditation. You can process the emotion. You can recognize the emotion. There is no such thing as a positive or negative emotion. What there is a positive or negative reaction, right? And so if it depends, you can feel anger. I get mad. I'm a spiritual guru type person. I have a Reiki master thing. I get pissed off. I got mad at my husband last week and called him a couple names. Probably shouldn't have done it, but I did. Right? But I'm human. We have human emotions. We are here to experience human emotions. So it's okay to have an emotion. What's not okay is to make your emotion toxic, to make it part of who you are, to dictate your actions and your reactions and the way you believe in life. And we all get angry. Go ahead, get angry. Be mad. Go scream in a pillow. But if your anger starts destructing yourself or others or causes you to do harmful things, that's when the anger becomes something really bad. And, I'm really big on, journaling. I actually have an anger journal. This is not it, but I get the little cheap journals like this. Anger journal, you write, oh, I'm so freaking pissed. Take it, like everything you want to say to something. You're a freaking asshole, whatever. Write it all on paper. Pull it out, rip it out, burn it, and then do some ho'oponopono. I can never pronounce it right, but forgiveness, work around it. I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry, and thank you. And release it. Process and release, experience the emotion, be human, and then let it go, right? And so it's okay to have them, but recognize and release. That's all I have to say about that. Someone had a question. It's not your job to parent your sister, you're still healing from her. Yeah, so sometimes, like, if you still have toxic people in your life, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create boundaries. And we're going to say, this is how I interact and react with you. My dad, great example. He would call me up. You're the oldest child. You need to fix your siblings. You need to do this. I'm having a bad day. Blah, blah, blah. Like, call me all the time. And I would get off and I would be in tears. My husband's like, oh my God, every time you talk to your dad, you're crying. And I'm like, yeah, because he's bringing up all the old trauma. And he says I have to fix things. And he goes, well, then why are you talking to your dad? I'm like, because he's my dad. I have to. Yeah. You know what? I started creating a boundary with my dad. When my dad would go off like that, I'd be like, Daddy, I'm not available for this type of conversation right now. I love you too much to argue. I'm going to let you go. Hang up the phone. And I always ended it with, like, I love you too much to argue. Because I wanted him to know, like, hey, I love you, but I'm not going here with you. This is not okay. And you know what? I had to do that a few times. And then he mostly stopped. And anytime he goes on his tirade, I'd be like, Daddy, I'm not available for this right now, but I really do love you. Can we change the topic? Or do we need to go? Sometimes he'll be like, I gotta go, and he'll hang up and he'll get mad. Because he's still in his toxicity, right? But I've created boundaries that protect me. And so that's really what you have to do with the family, is just be like, here's my boundaries. This is a container you're allowed to exist in. And I will tell you, I don't talk to my dad as much. Sometimes it's every 2 weeks versus 2 or 3 times a week. But I'm a lot happier and I'm a lot less stressed. I did the same thing with my mom, and I was like, here's your boundaries. This is how our relationship goes. One of the reasons I haven't talked to my mom in 7 years, I was like, I don't know what you're doing. Not cool. I'm not with this. And here's how our relationship will look. And she was like, nope, done. And literally has not talked to me in 7 years, almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years this February, last time I've seen or talked to my mom. And it sucks. It hurts, right? But my boundaries are healthy boundaries, showing that I'm in the process of healing. And that healing cannot take place with the toxicity that's going around. And that's the thing. You cannot heal in the same place that you were injured. We'll just say it's really hard to heal there. And so that's what the boundaries are for, right? And if someone's making you feel horrible for healing, then yeah, like Nicole said, like an oxygen mask for flight, whatever works for you first. Exactly. Yeah, so it's self-love, self-protection, self-preservation, and it will feel radically uncomfortable. It will feel really weird creating boundaries. And I've even learned this past year. I worked with over 12,000 clients in this past year. And I worked to the point where I was burning myself out and making myself sick because I thought I had to sacrifice myself for everyone, because that's what healers do. We sacrifice ourselves. We fix people. You know what? It hurt me. And so I had to pull back, and it was so uncomfortable to say, I can't help everybody. I can't fix everybody. And it freaking hurt me to my core to say that. But I also had to realize some people are not ready to heal, right? And just because someone wants you to help them, does not mean that you're supposed to or you're able to help or fix them, right? And so you really have to look at the whole picture and the whole situation of where does this person fit into your life? How do they fit into your life? Are they reflecting something you need to heal? What are they doing? And notice the people that are creating stumbling blocks and triggers and barriers, and what you can do to heal and shift those things, because it's going to happen over and over and over again, you know, until you start working on your healing. And I will tell you, like, I had a client who had an ex that was stalking her and very abusive. Man, I went into trigger city with her because I still hadn't healed some of those same things from my ex. And I realized, I was like, I'm not the best person to support you with this because I still have things to heal. And so I pulled into healing myself, so that in turn I could turn around and support this person in healing. And it's hard. It's going to be so hard, guys. And you're going to go up and you're going to walk on your path and you're going to be like, this is amazing. And then you're going to trip and fall and go, oh my God, this sucks. Like, cry. And then you're going to get up and you're going to try again. And some days you're going to feel like you're not moving forward at all. And some days you're going to feel like you're running down that path and getting where you need to be. Allow yourself to trust that all days are good days, even if they feel weird, bad, awkward. And as long as you're even taking little itty bitty steps forward and you're moving forward and trying, that's all that I ask of you. You know, I don't ask for you guys to think that you're going to have revolutionary overnight changes or magical things. And they do happen. And I want you to believe in magic, because that's part of that inner child. That inner child believes in magic. That inner child believes in infinite possibilities and playfulness. But, you know, some days that inner child is disappointed, kind of like we were all disappointed by the Disney fairy tales, that not every princess gets her prince. But you know what? Also, not every princess needs to be saved by Prince Charming. Keep that in mind. And so there will be disappointments and triggers along the way, and that's okay. It's okay to be angry, sad, mad, cry. It's okay. Like, there's been times where I get in my car and I drive down the freeway and I just scream to let it all out. And then I come back home and I go, okay, now I can move on again. You know, and as long as you're not hurting yourself or others in the process, you know, just go along with it. If you feel that your journey is really too difficult or you need support, don't be afraid to get a counselor or a therapist or someone to work with. And that's okay too, right? Um, there goes my nose with intuition. What do we need to know, nose? Oh, right. Spirits, like, they need to know that there's infinite love and wisdom always available to them. Always. That the universe is one, and that we are all one, and that we are all interconnected to that love and wisdom. And that even if you don't feel loved with the people around you, or even by yourself, that you are divinely loved. That your energy is love, that we thrive on love. That the love energy of oxytocin is what even created you. No matter the circumstances of your birth, the energy is that of love and positive energy, and that is available to everyone around us. And there are so many times where I feel alone and loved, and or unloved, and I'm like, I have no one. In spirit's like, you have me, you have the universe. You know, sometimes an animal will fly over like a bird and just tweet next to me, or my dog will come up and just rub up next to me and remind me that there's still love available. And so kind of keep that in mind as you go, and don't be too hard on yourselves. You know, I'm not about this, you know, and maybe I'm weird, but I'm not this like love and light perfection, everybody smile all the time and eventually you're gonna be happy. Fuck that shit. You know, go through your experiences, be happy, be sad, go on your journey the way that it takes you, and eventually you will find yourself every day being a little bit happier and a little bit more aligned, and a little less judgmental of yourself and others, and a little bit more healed. And that's all you need. You know, there's magic available for all of us. And that's what the inner child is about, is rediscovering the magic and the infinite possibilities. And remembering when you were a child, you believed in magic. You believed in fairy tales and princesses. And, you know, you believed that elephants could fly, and all things, you believed in mermaids and all things that as an adult we were like, oh, that's not possible, I don't know if I can believe that. Yeah, put that part aside and let's start believing in the magic again. So let's end this class with a meditation. Probably be about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. If you haven't done a healing meditation with me, we're going to do deep breaths. This starts with inhaling through the nose. I like to envision pure white light fills and expands your lungs. If you're not used to deep breathing, it might be harder for you to do this, but just do it the best you can. We're going to hold it and pause, and then we're going to exhale out and push out all that stagnant energy. And that's where we're going to kind of reset our energy. And then I'll take you through the meditation. At any time you feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like you can continue, just kind of set aside, deep breathe, and move yourself out of the meditation. And you can always come back later for the recording. This is actually, I hope, recording as we go on YouTube. This is the first time I've done live on YouTube, so this is like a test thing for me. So hopefully that recording should be available almost instantly. But if it's not, we'll put up this Zoom recording later, and I'll probably still put up the Zoom recording because the Zoom is in the full screen versus just the parallel. But anyways, let's get started with the meditation. Let me get some incense lit here, and you guys kind of get ready, get in a comfortable position. You can sit or lay down, and we'll kind of get going with this. Well, aha, there's my lighter, guys. I dropped it. I was like, where'd my lighter go? Let's get some incense going here. And I love incense. Incense is a way, that didn't work, of smoke cleansing. Similar to saging, where the smoke is going to help move the negative energy around. Well, I have First Nations ancestry. I typically just kind of teach smoke cleansing because it's good for anyone in all belief systems. And sage tends to be endangered, so you really do need to be gifted your sage if you're going to use it. All right, so we have some incense rocking and rolling. This is lavender and lemongrass, if you want to envision that smell coming through to you. And we're going to just start in with our deep breaths. I'm going to do them with you guys. Oh, Nicole says, open my window. Yes, thank you, Nicole. If you're wondering why Nicole says open our window, when you're doing smoke and incense, the incense carries the energy, the smoke, and it takes it up, out to Creator. So you guys are going to hear my birds chirping. Well, they're not mine. They live by me. They share the tree by my house. But that's why we open a door or window. So when you smoke or sage, open a door or window and allow that smoke to be carried out. And yep, it's going out the door. So there we go. So okay, guys, let's start. We're going to just follow along with me. And let's go. So we're going to do our first deep breath in. Pause. And exhale. Second deep breath in. Pause. And exhale. And third deep breath in. So we're just going to start off by recognizing your feelings, your sensations, your emotions, the things that you've brought with you for the day, everything that your body feels, your mind feels, what's playing around in your subconscious. We're just going to recognize all emotions, all feelings. Just give them some recognition. Notice where you are. Anything that feels distracting or uncomfortable or painful, we're going to take those emotions. I want you to find a container, and we're going to kind of just scoop those emotions into that container. And we're going to take that container and fill it up with these emotions, anything that's distracting us right now. We're going to take that container and we're going to put it aside on a bookshelf, a shelf on the wall, on a table. And we're going to tell our subconscious this message. For now, we're going to set these things aside For just the next few minutes, we're in a safe space, a space of healing, a space of peace, a space of meditation. And this safe space means that we can let these things just sit for just a moment. You can come back to them after the meditation or another day, but just for this brief moment in time, we're going to set them aside. Let's take a deep breath in. Breathe out the fears and the anxieties. We're going to go on a journey, and that journey is to meet your inner child. Today, that journey is finding a meadow and a garden, and a place of peace, a place where your inner child has been left playing alone. We are going to discover and find that piece of us. So we're going to start walking down a path. And as you walk down that path, notice the birds chirping, the breeze blowing. Notice anything you see on the side of the road. If there's flowers or trees or other objects, just pay attention to them. And as you come around this path, it goes around a corner and it opens up into a field. And in that field, there's a beautiful meadow, a grassy meadow, maybe surrounded by trees or flowers. Maybe there's some water there. And I want you to look around that meadow until you find your child, that childhood self that is you. We must go quietly. Walk quietly and gently up to your childhood self. And just notice what you are doing. What is that childhood self doing? Are they laughing? Are they crying? Are they playing? Just kind of notice and pay attention to them. When you're ready, say hello to your childhood self and get their attention. Say their name. Notice what they do, what the reaction is. Ask the childhood self if you can sit with them for a while. Get down on their level. Sit in the grass next to them. And find them and have a conversation. Ask that childhood self, what is it that they need right now to feel more loved, to feel more playful, to feel more joy, more alive, to feel safe, nurtured. Whatever you need, ask them what they need too. Ask them to find a place of forgiveness. Ask them to forgive you for leaving them behind. Tell them that you love them, that you forgive them, that you are so infinitely sorry for leaving this part of you behind. And as you ask for forgiveness, notice if you are given forgiveness. Ask your childhood self to come in, to come closer, and to give you a hug. And if it's comfortable with that, embrace your childhood self. Embrace yourself in a warm, loving hug. You've missed this part of you that's been gone for so long, so very long. And it's time to make this part of you again. Let's take a deep breath in. Ask your childhood self to come home, to come back to you. As you embrace your childhood self, a beautiful, warm, golden, sparkly light starts to swirl around both of you. And this light creates a gentle healing vortex that connects you all the way from the ground up to God, Creator, the universe, and your higher power, surrounding you both in beautiful healing energy and light. Take a deep breath in. And as you deep breathe in, watch your childhood self start to melt into your body, coming into you and reintegrating those pieces of you that have been lost, bringing back the pieces to the puzzle that have been missing for so long. Deep breath in. Notice how you feel more complete, more balanced, more peaceful. You might have a smile on your face as that piece that's been missing for so long comes back into you. It may feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Make space and room for your childhood self within you. Now we're going to send down some beautiful purple healing light to surround you, to pull back in any remaining pieces. And finally a beautiful white light to complete your healing. And let's speak out loud and say these words. I permanently clear all pain, all fractures, all distortions of the past that disconnected myself from my childhood self. I call back and allow all pieces of me to return, to restore, to reintegrate the pieces of my soul. Take a deep breath in. I permanently clear all negative attachments, emotions, and disruptions from the past, from the present, from the future, and from all dimensions of time. I restore and rebalance myself. I call back all pieces of my energy that were stolen and taken as a child from anyone who has my energy without my knowledge, without my permission. I call back my energy. Take a deep breath in. Say thank you. Put your hands over your heart. Feel love, peace, gratitude for your body, your mind, for your soul, for your higher self. Deep breathe in again. Feel the warmth and feel the love that surrounds you. One more deep breath in. Tell yourself, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be myself. Thank you for supporting me on my human journey, for enlightening me, and for bringing me joy and healing. We are grateful to our body, mind, and soul as we remind the body, mind, and soul it is capable of healing all things, of bringing restoration and balance back to the body. We are so grateful. Last deep breath in. When you're ready, you can start moving your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, yawning, and coming back to the room. All right. So I hope everybody is feeling well with that. You might feel, a little disoriented or overwhelmed, and that's okay too. I want to remind you to be gentle with your body as you go on. We just did some powerful reintegration of your soul and some healing. So we're not going to go watch the news, although the Johnny Depp trial might be tempting. Set it aside. We're not going to listen to heavy metal. We're just going to be gentle. We're going to drink some water. If your body feels tired, that's a normal response, showing that your body is healing. So allow yourself to go to bed early if you need to, and rest. Resting is a part of healing. Our bodies heal in rest. So if you be called to take a nap, take a nap. Remember that childhood self loves afternoon naps. And so that's a great way to bring that childhood healing back to you. Pardon me. I also, on my SoundCloud, there is at least one, maybe two meditations. I can't remember. Sorry, guys. I make the meditations and I forget what I do. On there for childhood healing, inner child healing as well. And so if you want to continue the healing, I would suggest going to watch those or coming back to this meditation and watching it again. Because sometimes and often there's so many parts of us that we've had multiple traumas or multiple experiences where we pulled apart little bits of our child and set them aside. And so you might need to come and return to this more than once and listen to it more than once. So kind of keep that in mind as you go, that it's okay to come back. And so this time you might have been working with your 4-year-old self. And next time it might be your 13-year-old self or your 17-year-old self. And so kind of keep in mind that you are allowed to come back and redo this and bring in every piece of you from every instance that's separated or damaged or pushed aside that inner child of yours. We have a lot of new free classes coming up on the website. Just go check out spiritfluent.com. Under classes, I know that there's at least 3 that are coming up. So please go check those out because I try to make a lot of free content for you guys. Nicole did remind me there's also, especially those of you who are watching on YouTube, there's a lot of meditations already on YouTube. There's over 50 videos for healing different chakras. There's a childhood trauma class. And Nicole posted the schedule. She's better than me. We have June 17th, which is Scrubbing Time, which is about healing the past and the time. We have June 22nd, Knowing Your Spiritual Gifts. And July 19th is Speaking Your Soul Language. So there will be a lot more classes coming, and I will be adding more as we go on inner child healing, fight or flight response. Because like I said, this summer, that's going to be one of the primary focuses for me. I feel a little selfish in that that's what I need to heal. But like I said, every time I work with a client, they're just mirroring what I need to heal. And I'm like, well, shit, if I work on myself, we're going to work on everybody else too. So it's kind of like this collective. We are all one and we are all there to heal. Hopefully that has helped you guys and you found balance. I see some of the wonderful comments on the chat. So you guys are so very welcome. It brings me so much joy to offer you classes and healing things like this, and your support means a lot. So please take advantage of the content and classes we create, because a lot of them, most of them are free, and that is because I'm trying to give back and provide that healing for you guys. So you guys are amazing. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully I will see you guys in future classes. So bye everybody.
Recording.